Fox Sports, broadcasting in the world's finest high-definition standard. Eagles and Panthers met twice last season. Eagles winning the regular season matchup down in Charlotte 25-16, and the Panthers winning here 14-3 in the NFC Championship game in January.
That way, Philadelphia won the toss. They will receive. Good luck, man.
Andy Reid's Eagles with a record of 4-0, wins over the Giants, the Vikings, Lions, and the Bears. And the Eagles 5-0, Daryl, following the bye week under Andy Reid.
Yeah, they have been very productive, a good system that they implement. John Fox, on the other hand, is faced a little bit of struggles this year. He's got some injuries, but I was really impressed sitting down, talking to him, and then talking to the players afterwards. They seem to emulate his strength and his confidence. This group is not worrying about the position they find themselves in right now because of the spin that John Fox has put on it. Very impressed, and this group is a confident bunch coming into today's game.
John Fox told us last night, as bad as we played in Denver last week, we still had a chance to win the game. In fact, the Panthers led the Broncos in the fourth quarter, lost 20-17.
They had an opportunity to get the ball back. Denver gets the ball. Oh, they take 6 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock at the end of the game. Their defense couldn't get them off the field and give their offense an opportunity to go down and force that game into overtime. Panthers
have done a terrific job on kickoff coverage over their first 4 games. The Eagles have had terrific starting field position.
Something's got to give.
J.R. Reid back deep for the Eagles. John Casey gets things started from the 6. This is Reid. J.R. Reid into Carolina territory. Finally taken down inside the 30 by Ricky Manning Jr., and there is a late flag as well. A 66-yard return by the rookie out of South Florida, J.R. Reid.
That is the one thing you can't have. You saw the stat that Philadelphia has good field position coming out, but John Fox, he has openly admitted, if we're going to be at our best, we have got to play good defense. We've got to have sound special teams play, and to open the game and allow a huge kickoff return is just, it's a forecoming of things that are negative for you. You've got all these things surrounding you. You try to come in here. We just talked about the confidence and the toughness that they've had approaching this game, and to have something on the opening play go against you, it just seems like it just continues to fall.
With 15 yards unsportsmanlike on the Eagles. Official on the sideline was knocked down by a member of the team's bench. 15 yards, first down.
You go back and take a look. There's the guys up front in the wedge right there. Jeremiah Trotter, Reno Mahe. They do a great job of creating that lane. And look, there's nobody there. He beats the kicker to the inside. Ricky Manning Jr., the safety on the opposite side of the field, comes all the way across to make the tackle. There's your collision right there down at the bottom. Actually, I'd give it to a player and a coach on the sideline.
So a 15-yard penalty pushes the Eagles back to the Carolina 43. McNabb to the air on first down. And the catch is made by Todd Pinkston, who did not catch a pass in the NFC Championship game against the Carolina Panthers. McNabb this season has thrown 9 touchdowns. He's been picked off only once. Leads the NFL in first quarter passer rating. Second down and 6 from the 38. Movement prior to the snap. McNabb to Pinkston again, and he picks up the first down to the Carolina 27. So the Eagles go to Pinkston on the first 2 plays from scrimmage.
I like those calls because it gets Todd Pinkston into the game immediately. He has had to deal with a lot of questions all week long about what happened in the championship game last January. And you come out, you call 2 plays, one just a little curl route over the middle, get him some positive feel right there, and then you do a little boot. He gets another big chunk right there, 10-plus yards, converts a first down. So now you've got Todd Pinkston in a good positive frame of mind as this game gets underway.
And Donovan also did a good job of knowing that he had a free play on that also, Moose, and taking a little bit of chance to run it downfield.
Pinkston, in fact, guys, only one catch in the regular season game against the Carolina Panthers last year, then shut out in the playoff game. First carry today for Brian Westbrook, and he gains 3 down to the 23-yard line. Julius Peppers made the tackle. The men protecting Donovan McNabb. Westbrook along with the fullback Josh Parry. Pinkston and Owens the wideouts. Westbrook coming off a career high 119 rushing yards in the Eagles' last game 2 weeks ago in Chicago. Second down and 7. McNabb with loads of time looking end zone for Owens, and the pass a bit short. Mike Minter got a piece of it.
Good protection by the Eagles up front to give Donovan McNabb the time there, and here's his go-to guy down here in the red zone. They're not going to put one of their defensive backs into true one-on-one coverage with Terrell Owens. They're going to do a number of things. You've got to know where your help is. You've got to know where you have to be. But Mike Minter told us we're not going to put a guy on an island out there. He's going to have help from the inside. He's going to have help from the outside, over the top, underneath. And right there, Ricky Manning Jr. does a good job knowing where he's got his help, and Mike Minter almost comes across and makes the interception.
Reno Mahe in motion, 3rd down and 7. McNabb can't find anyone. Down he goes. Back at the 31-yard line, taken down by Brenson Buckner and Mike Rucker. Loss of 7 yards on the play.
One of the things that Andy Reid was not happy about the last time the Eagles played was their performance when they got down in the red zone. You can't take a sack on 3rd down in the red zone. Now, I mean, David Akers is a great kicker. But, I mean, that 7 yards really put some pressure on you here, taking you out to 48 yards. So that was an area that he was not happy with the last time they went out and played. And I'm sure the way this thing has started, he's not going to be happy about that either.
So a 48-yard attempt. He hit 4 field goals from 40-plus in the Eagles' win in Chicago. And Akers has given the Eagles a 3-0 lead over the Panthers. Back in Philadelphia, Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, Tony Siragusa. Eagles out to the early lead, 48-yard field goal by David Akers. And now the Panthers will get their first opportunity on offense. That 66-yard kickoff return by J.R. Reed.
Kenny, I really like the way you say my name. Can you say that one more time for me?
Would that be your first name or your last name?
Both.
Tony Siragusa.
Very nice, thank you.
How does Dick Stockton usually say?
He always messes it up.
This is Jamal Broussard, signed this week from the Cincinnati practice squad. Takes a knee in the end zone. Panthers will start from the 20. Over the last 2 seasons, the Eagles unbeaten when they score in the first quarter. Panthers allow a score on the opening possession for the 4th time this year. Stephen Davis in the backfield making his return after missing the last 3 games. And Davis gains just 2 on first down. Jake Delhomme in the NFC Championship game attempted only 14 passes. Went 9 of 14 for 101 yards in the Panthers' 14-3 victory. 2 of his career starts came as a member of the New Orleans Saints. 2nd down and 8 from the 22. Muhammad in motion. Davis again. And Stephen Davis takes it out to the 27. Gain of 5, setting up 3rd down and 3. But first, we say hello for the first time today to Jeannie Zalasko in Los Angeles.
And good morning. How many times have we seen this before? Where McGinnis comes up with a turnover and the Patriots capitalize. Corey Dillon with the 1-yard run into the end zone. Patriots on the board.
All right, Jeannie, New England looking to set an NFL record by winning their 20th consecutive game. Panthers have to get to the 30 for a first down. Penalty marker as Muhsin Muhammad picks up the first. If it stands, it will be career catch number 500 for the Panthers' all-time leading receiver, and he's hanging on to that football.
That's got a special place for it back at his house. But
Holding, 26 is the defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play is a first down.
they were going to have the first down either way there, but a good job for that milestone for Muhsin Muhammad. But that opening series right there, I think some real positive things for the Carolina Panthers. Number one, Stephen Davis ran well. He ran physical with not great yardage, but good punishing finishes of the run. So that burst, that push off that bad leg looks good. And they were able to stay in manageable down and distances, which is going to be the challenge all afternoon.
7 yards on his first 2 carries. The give to Davis once again. And he found a hole, picks up another first down out to the 49, gain of 12, finally brought down by Michael Lewis and Sheldon Brown.
The big thing that he does is he allows that big play in the running game, and a lot of that will come because of these guys here. And there has been a lot of change in this offensive line, and we talk about the run defense, but also the production on the running side because of the injuries. And Kerry Colbert had a huge game last week out there catching footballs, but Stephen Davis is going to be the key because they would have had to do so many different things to be able to run their normal offense with him out of the lineup.
The pitch to Brad Hoover. And the fullback takes it into Eagles territory. Gain of 8, brought down by Brian Dawkins.
And you know this is going to be a physical game today. Brian Dawkins coming in trying to throw the elbow up at Stephen Davis's head, and that's an aggressive player, but you might learn a hard lesson that way. There's not a whole lot of protection on that elbow, but there's an awful lot on that helmet.
And the Eagles know Stephen Davis very well, dating back to his days as a Washington Redskin. 2nd down and 2 from the Eagles 43. This is Hoover, and he picks up the first down. Gain of 3. So the Panthers again able to move the chains. Eagles defensively ranked 16th in the NFL. Burgess, Walker, Simon, and Kearse up front. Javon with 3 sacks. They all came in the same game in Detroit. Wayne with Simoneau and Dahani Jones, the linebackers. Brown and Shepard, the corners. Dawkins and Lewis are the Eagles safeties. Stephen Davis has returned. 1st and 10 from the Eagles 40. Penalty flag prior to the snap.
Ball start. 79 of the offense. 5 yards. Still first down.
That's the former Eagle, Doug Brzezinski.
These are the things that John Fox talked about. They can't have the mistakes that are within their control. They can't get themselves into 1st and 15 because without Steve Smith on the outside, they can talk all they want about the injuries, but he was their big play guy. I know some of the other guys have stepped up and done a nice job, but they have to be able to stay in manageable down and distances. Number one, because they're missing some good playmakers, but number two, Jim Johnston's defense will take its chances when they feel the advantage goes to them on the down and distance side.
Now 1st and 15 following the penalty, and the Panthers keep it on the ground with Davis. And he gains just 1. Hollis Thomas, first Eagle in on the tackle. So it will be 2nd and 14 for the Panthers on their opening possession.
You know, Moose, you talk about Jim Johnston's defense. This guy is not only very, very intelligent when it comes to the blitz, but even just in a base package. I remember when he was my defensive coordinator with the Indianapolis Colts, he would have a call, an automatic, which would be whatever the offense came out with, that's what you set up to. So it pretty much takes all the guessing, whether it's run or pass, totally out of the game.
Tony and Jim together with the Colts. 2nd down and 14. They set up the screen to the tight end, Chris Mangum. Nice change of direction by Mangum, and then he's tackled after a gain of just 4, setting up Third down and long, third and about 10.
Yeah, you saw Chris Mangum get up and kind of spike the ball in disgust because he had an opportunity for more yardage right there. They had 2 offensive linemen out in front with only 1 defender out in the flat area, and Chris went to go to the outside. The defender kind of baited the offensive lineman. That got shut down, so he knows that he let an opportunity for a more productive play kind of slip through his fingers right there.
Jake Delhomme has not fared well this season on third downs. Panthers ranked 18th as a team in that category. They have to get to the Eagles' 30. And the pass is dropped by the rookie out of USC, Kerry Colbert.
That is a tough play against this style of defense. They are very aggressive. They are very quick. They get 11 guys in pursuit to the football. And when you run those quick wide receiver screens with the wide receiver coming back towards the interior of the field, he is coming right into pursuit. A lot of these guys will sneak a little peek up there down the field to see who's coming, and they take their eyes off the balls and don't get the completion.
Todd Sauerbrunn back at his own 45. Will punt to Reno Mahe. Mahe lets it go. There's a flag. It bounces into the end zone. Flag along the near sideline.
Ineligible downfield. 53 of the kicking team. Penalty is declined. Touchback. First down.
The former New York Giant, Brandon Short, the guilty Panther. Back in a moment. Back in Philadelphia, although Carolina did not score, Daryl, Jake Delhomme told us last night one of our main goals, keep Donovan McNabb off the field.
Yeah, they came out, they didn't get any points out of that drive, but took almost 6 minutes off the clock, punted the ball down. The big thing, Stephen Davis, he looks like he's going to be okay today. He maybe doesn't have that burst, but it's only been a month since he's had surgery, but I thought very productive on that opening drive.
And now Brian Westbrook gaining just 1 on first down. The former Eagle Al Wallace on the tackle along with Brenson Buckner. For the Panthers defensively, Kendall Moorhead starts for the injured Chris Jenkins. Julius Peppers, that 101-yard return last week, did not go for a touchdown. Brought down inside the 5. Mark Fields out again today, replaced by Brandon Short. Second down and 9. McNabb firing to Terrell Owens. And he picks up the first out across the 30. First catch today for Owens.
Carolina Panthers don't agree with this call by the officials. They were all signaling an incomplete pass. We'll see if we can take a look at it right here. See if this hops in there. And looks like he one-hopped it in there. So see if John Fox wants to throw out the challenge. But I don't know. I don't do that. It looks like Terrell Owens has got his hands underneath that ball. I'm going to save that red flag on that one.
Looks like a good catch. A first down out at the 31. 3 wide receivers set. Dorsey Levens giving Westbrook a spell. Takes it out across the 35 for a gain of 5. As we check in once again with Jeannie Zalasko in Los Angeles.
Daddy, we're going to Detroit. So many questions about the health of Brett Favre. Well, he's giving the Lions a headache early. 7-yard strike to Donald Driver. Packers in the driver's seat for a very short time because here comes Detroit. Joey Harrington, meet Hakeem. 28-yard pass. Hakeem in the end zone. Tie ball game.
Thanks, Jeannie. The 150th meeting between those longtime rivals. Now McNabb throwing deep, and the catch is made by Owens. Deep in Panthers territory. A 54-yard pass play.
It is so difficult to defend an underthrown long ball. Ricky Manning Jr. is in decent position, but he doesn't adjust to the ball. Terrell Owens is looking back. He knows what the flight of that ball is. He's able to shut it down a little bit and make that catch on the underthrown ball. And this, to me, is where his strength is. At the point of the catch, Terrell Owens may be one of the best in the NFL. I think he's great getting off the line of scrimmage against the jam, against any type of release he needs to use. But then when the ball comes into his area, he is so strong at the point of the catch.
McNabb calls timeout. Was that Ricky Manning defending Owens or Billy Bob Thornton, as we saw last week in the pregame show?
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Get ready for the game. By Levitra. Ask your doctor about it today. Levitra when it counts. And by HP. Services and technology help companies face, manage, and love change.
Back in Philadelphia, Eagles with a 3-point lead, and they are in the red zone following that 53-yard pass play from McNabb to Owens. From the 11. McNabb complete. Down to the 1. Brian Westbrook.
That's the problem that Brian Westbrook poses to opposing defenses. You know, he's out here in the slot, and he can run routes as well as receivers. He's going to go outside, then whip back in underneath. You see the separation that he creates, and he gets right into that void. And when you're looking at the end of the, or as the play starts, you know, how do I cover him? Are we going to play zone? We're going to try and bracket him. Should I bring a safety down? Can my linebackers cover him? And when you have matchup problems like that on the inside, along with what Daryl Owens brings on the outside, it's a tough way to defend this offense.
3 tight ends in the game. McNabb rolling left. And now fires, deflected. And nearly caught in the end zone by Mike Bartram. 2nd and goal upcoming.
I've already seen Donovan McNabb kind of force 2 passes in the red zone. Earlier, he had one to Daryl Owens in the back corner that Mike Minter probably should have intercepted. And that one right there, he was very fortunate there. He's got to get back and be more careful with his selections when he gets down here. I mean, we've had 2 drives into the red zone already, and he's lucky to not have 2 interceptions at this point in the game.
76 is eligible. They're eligible,
Alonzo Ephraim has checked in, along with 2 tight ends. Levens, touchdown.
It's just amazing how many people this Philadelphia Eagles offense can throw at you. And you get Brian Westbrook down there working out of the slot in the receiving game. Then you get Dorsey Levens in for your goal line running attack. Josh Perry goes in ahead of him leading, gets a good block right there. Gets some great separation between him and the running back to allow Dorsey Levens to be able to push that pile.
First touchdown this season for Levens. First rushing touchdown by an Eagle other than McNabb. Late first quarter. It's the Eagles 10. The Panthers nothing.
You know, guys, I was standing right there in the end zone on that touchdown run. It didn't look like the ball crossed the goal line.
Dorsey Levens has got it in his right arm. You can see there it is right there. There's the ball. Does it break that plane? But the official coming in from the side, he gave his touchdown signal very quickly.
Yeah, Dan Morgan couldn't believe that they had a touchdown on that play.
Too late to challenge once Akers kicked the extra point. Jamal Broussard takes it out from the 5. His first return as a Panther. They released Eugene Baker earlier this week. A return of 20 yards. Well, later today, Fox Sports' month-long journey of some of sports' greatest moments continues. Game 4 of the NLCS between the Cardinals and the Astros. And it's Game 4, the potential clincher. Yankees and Red Sox from Fenway. The drama continues today at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific in Fox Sports high definition.
I think Red Sox fans would like a little bit of drama. I don't think there was a whole lot of drama in that game last night.
What a night for the Yankees after the rain out on Friday.
Throwing up football scores up there in Fenway Park.
Big numbers, man. Big numbers in New York.
Stephen Davis up the middle, out to the 29. Corey Simon made the tackle after a gain of 4.
You know, I'm taking a look at, sorry about that, Daryl, but I'm taking a look at Stephen Davis. He looks like he's running pretty good. I would think that he would, you know, be favoring his knee a little bit, but he looks strong. He's making some great cuts here from what I can see in the end zone, and he's really running strong. Legs are loaded, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, at the end of the run, he's really finishing the run. I mean, the first 2 times he carried the ball, I mean, very physical at the point of contact at the end of the runs. And you mentioned how bad those bone bruises hurt. It does look like, you know, he's going to be able to do anything they need him to do this afternoon.
He wanted to play last week in Denver, but the coaches and training staff decided to err on the side of caution. Harry Colbert makes the catch in Eagles territory at the Philadelphia 41, a 30-yard completion for Delhomme.
I tell you what, Jake Delhomme, I don't know whether it's confidence, bravado, or what, but he's throwing this pass. He's pretty well covered. Kerry Colbert is pretty well covered out there by Lito Shepherd. He's actually got help underneath. But there again, we saw it with Terrell Owens, the underthrown long ball. Because Kerry Colbert is looking back at the quarterback and Lito Shepherd's reading his eyes and what he's doing on the outside, a tremendous advantage goes to the wide receiver on a pass that's underthrown down the field.
Delhomme told us last night Colbert does not play like a rookie. And Davis runs into a brick wall named Michael Lewis.
Brian Dawkins gets a lot of talk, that safety back in the secondary, but Michael Lewis, he really burst onto the scene a couple of years ago. He is a playmaker, and he is a physical presence at safety. And when you talk about all the pieces in the puzzle that Jim Johnston has an opportunity to work with, I think that's why this defense poses so many problems, because just like their offense, they have got a lot of playmakers at different positions that he feels confident in getting that pressure package revolving around.
No gain for Davis, so 2nd down and 10 from the 41. Delhomme pump fakes, now throws, and coming back to make the catch. The rookie tight end out of Central Florida, Michael Gaines, and he gains just 2.
He didn't have a lot of gains on that one.
Nope.
This is a critical down right here for the Carolina Panthers, because what they wanted to do was come out and get the lead. They wanted to see how Philadelphia played from behind. They haven't been behind at the end of any quarter this year. So Carolina's challenge today was, let's get out and get on top of these guys. They find themselves down 10 right now. Everything is going Philadelphia's way. A big kickoff return to open the game, a big pass to Terrell Owens on the next drive. They have got to answer on this drive to create something positive for this team.
Panthers have to get to the 31.
And that's not the way to do it.
Dumb mistakes right there. You know, you would think that something like that would happen because of crowd noise, Daryl, but it's pretty quiet down here.
Yeah, it's not as loud as we had even opening week when we were here for the Giants. It was a raucous crowd, but today it's not that bad. And I think the complacency at 10-0 right now in the first quarter, that's why this is so critical, and they've put themselves in the situation what they had to avoid. They can't get into 3rd and long against this defense, because that's when Jim Johnston's pressure package is at its best.
You would think the crowd would be fired up. They haven't seen a home game in 3 weeks. Delhomme on 3rd and 13. Taken down back at the 42-yard line by Derek Burgess.
You have got to block your man the entire play when you're on offensive lineman. Derek Burgess at the top going against Jordan Gross. Jordan Gross does a good job, but as he lets him go, he retraces back. Jake Delhomme is scrambling. He doesn't even know Derek Burgess is coming from behind.
So the Eagles have now led after all 17 quarters this season. 10-0. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. I haven't had a stool for a while, but I guess that computes, Daryl, here in Philadelphia?
I think the only place that you don't get the red check mark by that answer is a math classroom in Philadelphia.
Owens already with 6 touchdowns this season over the first 4 games. Sauerbrunn second punt. And a terrific job by Gerard Cooper. Kept the ball out of the end zone, hitting the Eagles deep in their own territory.
Number 90 of the receiving team. After the kick, it'll be penalized from the dead ball spot from the 20 to the 10.
No, it's going to be a little bit closer than that. It's going to be from about the 7 to the 3.5.
Just Gerald Alston did not realize that Cooper kept the ball out of the end zone.
Well, because it was such a great play. Gerard Cooper right there. What a heady play, because a lot of times you punt the ball down, and the gunners, those guys on the outside, focus on the return guy. And every once in a while, he tries to trick you. He's going to run over to an area away from the football and signal for the fair catch. And if you get caught up with that, what Gerard Cooper does is he finds the flight of the ball and goes down, and he's able to bat it back. And that's a huge play right there. That's effective field position. That's the stuff in special teams, kind of some of the hidden yardage that's become a big word that you hear a lot of coaches talking about. But that saves you 17 yards with this penalty. If he doesn't make that play, you're 1st and 10 at the 20. Now they're going to be down backed up inside their 4-yard line.
And you saw Michael Lewis head off to the Eagles locker room. Daryl Owens, 2 catches, 63 yards. His 53-yard reception led to the Eagles touchdown, a 1-yard scoring run by Dorsey Levens.
They've got to start eliminating the big play by this Philadelphia team. They had the big kickoff return to open the game, a big pass play to Daryl Owens in the second series. They've got to force Philadelphia to go the long way. They're giving up too many chunks of yards today.
The Eagles start from their own 4. McNabb out of the end zone. Pass a bit off the mark, intended for Levens.
I think Julius Peppers and Rucker are doing a really good job of getting pressure on the outside, but they got to get more pressure up the middle from Moorhead. I mean, you know, the middles, I mean, he's able to step up and look around and move around, and those extra seconds, it makes it really tough for this corners to go and hug up when you have all that time.
The bad thing with Jenkins out of there, they can try and double team Julius Peppers too. When you've got that big guy down inside, that makes that a lot more difficult to do.
Eagles keep it on the ground with Levens. Tony, hug up in layman's terms. Can you explain hug up?
What's that, Kenny?
Explain hug up in layman's terms for us.
Hugging up, it's sort of like, you know, at night, like when you want to just hug up next to your, you know, better half. How's that?
All right. Is that what the cornerbacks do?
Yeah, you know, you want to get nice and close. You want to go and get right up on them and play a little basketball, as they say in the NFL. You want to stay one-on-one and stay right with them.
I played offense. We didn't do a lot of hugging up. So I know that one the time.
Our defensive players are a lot warmer.
There's a guy who's kind of gone unnoticed in this whole thing this season, Chad Lewis. And he doesn't have the catch right there, but he's become a viable weapon in this offense. And again, we've talked about all these people, and, you know, the Carolina Panthers are so worried about, you know, everybody talks about Daryl Owens, but their focus is on Brian Westbrook. And there's been a lot of guys on this offense that have taken advantage of that situation.
Lewis made the catch, but was stopped 3 yards shy of the marker. So Dirk Johnston punting from his own end zone.
Oh, you got to field that ball.
That's Broussard, who was signed off the Bengals practice squad this week. It took an Eagles bounce, 52 yards on the punt and the roll.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Ford. 6 all-new vehicles, each built for the road ahead. By McDonald's. By Net Zero, access for all. Go to netzero.com. And by Dockers, pro-style shirt and pants that do it all.
Offensive line coach Juan Castillo chatting with Eagles center Hank Fraley, looking at the photos.
They're trying to find out what's going on, but a lot of the pressure that Carolina is generating is just with their front 4. They haven't really blitzed yet, so I don't know if they're looking for something different with the D-line, maybe trying to pick up on a clue there.
Following the punt, Panthers start from their own 37. The low to Ricky Kroll. He takes a hard hit after gaining 6 from Roderick Hood. Michael Lewis, we saw him head off moments ago, a forearm injury. His return is probable. He's been replaced by Quentin Michael.
Ricky Kroll gets it, turns around to cut upfield, and Roderick Hood is on a beeline, puts a nice hit on him.
Roderick Hood, who credits Brenson Buckner for his success making this Eagles roster last year. He's from the same hometown, attended the same high school as the Panthers defensive lineman, and he lived at his house for a couple of months before he came to Eagles camp last year. Davis out to the 47. Jeannie Zalasko, take it away.
At the middle end, Tim Rattay, room to move, but look at Brandon Lloyd wide open here on 3rd and 9. Yikes, it's the first touchdown in the first quarter for the Niners this season, and of Foxborough, the land of another unbeaten. Tom Brady, 6 yards. David Patton, 17-0 New England.
New England is jumping all over the Seahawks. It's going to be difficult for them. I mean, they're coming cross country, but the big thing is they've still got to have that lead they blew against St. Louis in the backs of their minds. You were out there. I couldn't believe it. I mean, really, that game seemed like everything was insecure for the Seahawks.
Well, they trailed the Patriots by 17. They led the Rams by 17 with under 6 minutes remaining last Sunday, and Mike Martz refers to his offense as fast and furious, and that is what we saw over those last 6 minutes and then in overtime. Davis stopped just shy of the first. Third down and less than a yard. Davis the lone back. And the pitch to Stephen Davis. And he picks up the first down out to the 48.
Ooh, I don't know if I want to motion my fullback out of the backfield on 3rd and 1 if I am going to run the ball. You like to have that fullback in front of your tailback just in case somebody misses a block or you get penetration immediately upfield. You've got that security blanket in your fullback to pick up any of the missed assignments. They do a little crack toss on the outside. Mike Seidman comes down inside. Jordan Gross pulls out and around. One of the things you have to worry about, look at that. Hits it on his own guy. I don't know how Stephen Davis was able to get that one back because that one was coming loose. Fortunate to be able to have possession still.
28 yards on 8 carries. The pitch to Davis again into Eagles territory, running hard. Brought down at the 46 by Michael Lewis after a gain of 6.
You know, Daryl, I always hated when offense coordinators went and ran the same play twice at me. You know, they just run it over and over again. They have to be seeing something upstairs on this Eagles defense to be running that same play over and over. I mean, they only got a couple yards, but on that last one, they picked up 5 or 6 yards. I can't see exactly what it is, but they must be trying to keep somebody honest on the defense.
And the big thing going outside against Philadelphia, which, you know, usually a lot of teams have their success from tackle to tackle. They're so quick and so aggressive, it's difficult to turn the corner on them.
Jeremiah Trotter has replaced Mark Thibodeau, who limped off. Pass intended for the fullback, Brad Hoover, and Delhomme took a hard hit.
He had a hard one there, man.
Woo! Take a look at the end of the play. Boy, that's helmet to helmet. I can't believe they didn't call that one. I mean, he led with that.
Illegal shift. One man going down while the other one is in motion. 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
The Eagles lucky to get away with one right there because that should have been helmet to helmet on Jake Delhomme.
There's Rodney Peete, a former teammate of yours, the Panthers' backup quarterback.
You see right there, he's leading with the head, puts the crown of the helmet right in the ear hole of Jake Delhomme.
You got to love a quarterback that can get up after a shot like that, though, Bruce.
But, you know, just talking to him on Saturday, he's such a competitor, Jake Delhomme is. And, yeah, he's not coming out of this game. You can see right there, he's groggy, he's not right. His jaw's probably aching a little bit. But he knows how important this game is for the Carolina Panthers' entire season.
And now Delhomme calls timeout.
I don't think he's 100% right now. I think he's gonna get some time and get over to the sideline and think about this. Maybe we will see Rodney Peete on the next snap. Well, Jake Delhomme, actually this is compounded. He gets sandwiched. You see the hit right there by Javon Curse, but then he goes into the back of Tutan Reyes when he's trying to protect the passer. So, you know, all that force is generating stops again. So he got knocked from both sides of the helmet on that one.
Delhomme remains in the game. 2nd and 10. Pass caught by Muhammad into Eagles territory. Into the 48, gain of 4. Von Curse the tackle.
You know, Moose, you see a lot more teams going with that little screen to the outside. The only way that play is effective is if the defensive linemen are not pursuant to the ball. And the Eagles' defensive line prides themselves in that. You know they're going to turn and run. So I think it's almost like a waste play to run that.
These guys are too fast. I mean, one of the basic principles of Jim Johnston's philosophy is getting 11 guys to the football. You're going to have to be perfect in your execution and catch the defense in a bad situation for that play to work against the Eagles.
They're down in 6 and the play blown dead.
Prior to the snap, false start. 69 offense, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
Hey, Tony, you told us the other day, I love Jim Johnston's defense. You don't have to think. What do you mean by that?
Well, he doesn't put so much in the game plan. He puts maybe 15 or 20 plays. He throws out something if it doesn't work during the week. He works with his players. A lot of these coordinators will go and put 40 and 50 plays for their own security, and all of a sudden now you're a defensive lineman, or you're a guy in the secondary. You got to try and learn all these plays. After a while, man, it just starts looking like spaghetti in your head. I know that you guys would love that, though.
So he keeps it simple.
Keeps it nice and simple where all his players know what they're doing on every play. That's why they're that good.
Third down and 11, and the Panthers keep it on the ground with Hoover. Brings it up to midfield, and Panthers will punt it away. Forced back by a couple of penalties during that possession.
We talked about it at the top. You know, a lot of the problems that Carolina has faced this season are within their control, and today it seems to be the penalties. They're getting into difficult situations, and Tutan Reyes is going off the field right now, and they are already thin in their offensive line.
Panthers only dressing 7 offensive linemen today.
Dangerous to be a Panther this season. The injury bug has hit this team. It's unbelievable how many injuries, not only as the course of the season, but even at training camp coming into the season.
Sauerbrunn punting from his own 40. Put a little too much on it. 50-yard gross, 30 net. Eagles will start from the 20. Eagles go back on offense. They lead 10-0. Brian Westbrook only 3 touches so far today. Panthers yesterday seemed more concerned with Westbrook than Terrell Owens.
They really were. They felt that they could do some things on the outside to keep Terrell Owens in place. It hasn't worked yet. They had the big 50-yard play to him earlier on. But Brian Westbrook, a guy, you know, there's so many weapons that now you're focused so much on Brian Westbrook that you lose sight of T.O. on the outside. But they haven't been able to really get him on track this afternoon. So Carolina must be doing something good against number 36.
Westbrook today, 2 carries, 1 reception.
There you go, Daryl. It says it right there, huh?
Yeah, and I tell you, Julius Peppers, you know, watching him on film last week in their game, he is unbelievable in his explosiveness off the ball. Just a little move right there, he gets the tackle to move to the outside, and then he's got the speed to come underneath the block. You see right there, he kind of gives John Runyon a little bit of an okey-doke, and he's even able to beat the fullback on the underside. He's a talent.
So Westbrook loses 5 on the play. Dorsey Levin's back in. 2nd down and 15. Pass complete out to the 24-yard line. 3rd catch today for Owens. Gain of 9.
Playing off too much right there. Chris Gamble, he's 7 yards off. And, you know, I know you have to have respect. The way this team had success last year was getting up into the face, and Terrell Owens was very outspoken this week. You know, if they want to play physical, if that's what they want, you know, go ahead, bring it down. You know, we're ready to go. This is a different team this year. I say you stick with it. You know, you got to mix it in. You can't allow Terrell Owens to come off the line of scrimmage with that much of a cushion.
McNabb out of the shotgun on 3rd and 6. Freddie Mitchell in the slot. McNabb looking for Pinkston, who got tackled up with Ricky Manning Jr.
And those are the two that all this stuff kind of revolves around. When you go back to the championship game last January, it was Todd Pinkston and Ricky Manning Jr. that all the controversy started with.
Manning with those 3 interceptions in the NFC Championship game here last January.
Holding, 24 of the defense, 5 yards, automatic 1st down.
He's going to be physical with him at the line of scrimmage. He tackled him. You know what? I got no problem with that because, you know, that's going to go for 6. And we'll go back to that championship game last year. That's legal. That's inside 5 yards. Very physical on the release. And that was one of the things that Todd Pinkston wanted to work. He makes it. He jumps inside for the interception. He tries to beat the jam by releasing to the outside and use his speed, and Ricky Manning would just wash him to the sideline.
You know, Daryl, I got to agree with that, too. You're going to have to if you're going to give up 6 points, take the 5 yards and go to the next play.
You ain't kidding.
And Westbrook loses yardage once again, a loss of 3. So 2 plays ago, looks like Pinkston finally had Manning beaten at the line, and Manning was forced to grab hold.
I think that's a great that's a great improvement by Todd Pinkston, because that was the knock on him last season. That was supposedly the problem. He couldn't get off the jam. He couldn't beat the release. Well, right there, he did such a good job on it that Ricky Manning Jr. has no choice but to tackle him, because he knows he's in one-on-one with no help over the top.
4 receivers set. 2nd down and 13. Westbrook tried to turn the corner, and he's forced back at the 27 by Chris Gamble. 3rd and long coming up, but first we check in once again with Jeannie.
And we have more from the Meadowlands and more from Mr. Tim Rattay, who spots Arna's battle. 65-yard pass down to the 2. Kevin Barlow would punch it in, and the Niners feeling good. 14-0 second.
Well, the Jets down by 2 touchdowns, along with the Eagles and the Patriots, the only remaining unbeaten teams in the NFL.
Well, the Jets, that's somebody, you know, you're in a position, you're undefeated. You got a team coming all the way cross country that's been struggling a little bit. They are not ready to play, obviously, in that game this afternoon.
McNabb loads of time, wide open, Terrell Owens. His 2nd huge play of the afternoon. 51 yards from McNabb to Owens.
What a well-designed play. There's Terrell on the outside. He's going to run an in route. He's going to come across. There's nobody in the center of the field. There was a huge gap. You see Will Witherspoon coming into your picture right there. They had all bid up on that play-action fake, and there was a huge void from the linebacker level to the safety level.
So Owens becomes the first Eagle since Irving Fryer in 1996 with 3 consecutive 100-yard receiving games. Now Westbrook down to the 15-yard line, gain of 5, knocked down by Minter.
But right now I'm going to shift my focus from Brian Westbrook to Terrell Owens, because he's got 2 catches for over 100 yards on me right now. They have done a good job of keeping Brian Westbrook in check, but Terrell Owens is absolutely killing them right now.
Hey, Tony, what did you think about the Panthers telling us that they were more concerned with Westbrook than Owens?
You know, I couldn't believe it. I'm watching Westbrook right now. He seems like he's bouncing everything to the outside. You can't outrun the Carolina Panthers. They just got too much speed. Where they're most vulnerable is on the cutback, and I haven't seen Brian take advantage of that yet.
Incomplete, intended for the fullback, Parry.
You know, I do agree that Brian Westbrook is a definite threat, but when you overlook Terrell Owens, I mean, just look at what's happening here today. The guy just goes and finds openings and makes big plays. You can't go and recover when a guy makes as many big plays as Terrell Owens does.
And we haven't really seen him take advantage of what Denver did to Carolina last week when they kind of came out and opened up their formations and had a single back. And then, as you pointed out, Tony, we're going to run some press plays and allow the back to cut back into that interior of the line. We haven't seen him get into any of those sets that Denver was able to exploit Carolina with last week.
Timeout called by Carolina.
Timeout, Carolina, their 2nd.
Well, the Eagles, 3 50-plus yard plays coming in to the game today. Daryl, they have 3 today.
You've got to make these guys go the long way. Can't give up big chunks like that.
The Eagles leading the Panthers 10-0 as we welcome you back. A 3rd down and 6 upcoming for the Eagles, and a big first half for Terrell Owens.
Yeah, he has really risen to the challenge in today's game and was very outspoken during the course of the week that what happened in that championship game was not going to happen again this afternoon. And his performance, he's gone out and made sure that he's setting a bar right now for these other Eagle players to raise their level to.
Eagles have to get to the 10 for a first down. And the pass is dropped by the fullback, Parry. Thought about running before he had possession.
That was 2 consecutive thrown Josh Perry's way, and he didn't make either catch. He has an opportunity right there to keep the chains moving, get a first down. You've got to look the ball and make the catch first. Todd Pinkston, Donovan McNabb, they're all over there trying to get him to put that play behind him. But I'd be surprised to see he come back to him. That was 2 back-to-back passes that Josh Perry kind of had an opportunity to do something nice with and didn't get it done.
Brought back a couple of weeks ago following the season-ending injury suffered by John Ritchie. 34-yard attempt. Akers He's 2 for 2, hit from 48 earlier. So with just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half, it's the Eagles leading the Panthers by 13. Eagles looking to remain unbeaten. They lead the Panthers 13-0. 9 plays, 64-yard drive, culminating with the 34-yard Akers field goal. Owens with his second 50-plus yard catch of the day during that last drive.
And that's the thing that Carolina has got to eliminate. These big plays have just really, that's the reason they're down 13 right now.
Ball Broussard on the return. Taken out of bounds at the 26-yard line after a return of 14. Well, a big sports day here on Fox coming up following football. It will be Game 4 of the National League Championship Series after the tremendous performance by Roger Clemens yesterday. Cardinals leading 2-1, and the Yankees go for the sweep. Game 4 of the ALCS coming up tonight on Fox. Jake Delhomme and the Panthers start from their own 26-yard line. Delhomme on 1st and 10, caught out of the 31 by Muhammad, and a big hit by Nate Wayne after the gain of 5.
They have put some big hits on the skill players for the Carolina Panthers today, and you know, they're just in position. And he's going to come across the middle right there, 87. They're playing a zone defense, and there's Nate Wayne waiting for him right there.
Fingertips of Kerry Colbert. Roderick Hood on the coverage.
And we haven't seen a lot of pressure from Jim Johnston yet. The front four is doing a good job of being able to generate it on their own, and that's allowing the linebackers to get back and play in those zone areas. Like we saw Nate Wayne, that last play, the big hit. They're able to do some different things with their man coverage, but we haven't seen the blitz as much as we thought we were.
Now 3rd down and 4. Delhomme under pressure. He escapes. There's a flag. The pass is caught by Muhammad for a 1st down. Brings it out to the 45 for a gain of 13.
Tripping. Number 60 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
That's the center, Jeff Mitchell.
Wow, you never hear that call ever. You know, Jeff Mitchell, I know he has a couple tricks in his bag. I played with him when I was at the Ravens, but you never see that call come out. I mean, that's very strange for me to see that call come out.
And Tony, you won a Super Bowl ring, of course. As a teammate of Jeff Mitchell, you were telling us yesterday, one of the top centers you've ever played with.
You know, Jeff is just a smart guy. Big frame. He can move real well, and he knows, you know, if the blitzes are coming, he can really point them out. He does a really good job in there. Good all-around center.
Panthers need the 36-yard line for a 1st down. Delhomme airing it out, intended for Nick Goings, and it's intercepted by Dahani Jones. He was ruled down back at the 33-yard line. First interception of the season for the former New York Giant Jones.
I don't know if the wind played any part in this play, but they don't even have him covered out there. There goes Dahani Jones out to the outside to cover Nick Goings, and he is a good 5 yards behind him when this ball is delivered. He's kind of sitting there thinking he's got some help, and Nick Goings runs by him, but the ball got caught up. I don't know if the wind played any effect on that, or Jake was just a little short getting that out there. We've seen Philadelphia take advantage of the ability to create the big play, the 50-plus yard play, and an opportunity for Carolina right there to get one, and they couldn't take advantage of it.
You know, talk about change of possession. Dahani Jones has a little answering machine that talks about change, and we got to listen to that later on.
Here's the gap on 1st down. throws it away. Well, Tony mentioned Dahani's voicemail message. Let's listen to it.
Change. The inevitable. A point in one's life where all that exists begins again and the historical enigma repeats itself. Don't be afraid, as we leave a message for Dahani Jones. For life is change, and change is life.
And a change of possession on the interception by Dahani.
And a change of uniform. He's had a lot of change in the last year, so very appropriate for Dahani Jones to be so.
I've changed since I met him.
In a good way.
Absolutely.
2nd and 10. McNabb looking for the tight end, L.J. Smith. Incomplete. Dahani Jones, an admirer of fine art, and you saw him posing on a sculpture in a mirrored image of one of his favorite pieces of art, The Thinker.
Maybe that's where he thought about that message.
Yes.
That's what it all came, that the epiphany came while he was sitting next to that statue. They finally got a little pressure on the inside for you on that one, Tony. Brenson Buckner finally got they got some pressure right in Donovan McNabb's face on that play.
That's where you got to bring it. Donovan will go and sit in that pocket all day. His tackles are good enough to keep everybody out from behind him. You got to bring it right up in his face if you want to distract him.
McNabb on 3rd and 10. Into Panthers territory. Real Mahe, first down and more. His 2nd reception of the season. He gains 24 yards.
You get him out here singled up against the linebacker. Just a little choice route. He goes out, spins to the outside, one-on-one coverage. Then he's down the sideline. It's amazing how involved everybody gets in this offense. I mean, we call so many different players' names when you do a Philadelphia Eagle game. They're all finding ways to contribute. And this team has always been good at spreading the ball around, but they've become even better, and now Terrell Owens adds that big play threat to the entire skill position group.
And McNabb has already hit 5 different receivers today. Eagles in control, leading the Panthers 13-0. 2 minutes to go. First half. Next week, a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. Eagles and the Browns, and then in the second game of our Fox doubleheader, Cowboys visit the Packers. Check local listings for the games and times in your area. That's next Sunday on Fox. Number 43, Westbrook. Looks to bounce it to the outside. Prior to that play, Eagles only 12 yards rushing in this first half, and Westbrook gained 7.
Yeah, and I still don't think Jake Delhomme is all the way back from that hit with Javon Curtis, and then you saw how he got kind of caught against the tackle that was protecting. He's still not back yet, and you know, that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. And remember, they kept Chris Jenkins in there for a couple games when he was hurt. You know, sometimes it's hard as a player to realize that by being on the field, you're maybe not giving the team the best opportunity to win the game.
McNabb on 2nd and 3, overthrows Pinkston, and I'll throw this out down for both you and Tony. I would think, as a player, you never want to come out.
No, you never want to do. Number one, you don't want somebody to come in and play your position and have a breakout game at your spot and not be able to get back in the lineup. But you always feel like you need to be on the field to help your team win, and it's difficult to come off sometimes. It's difficult to make that realization that, you know what, the guy behind me is 100%. He's going to be a lot better than I am right now.
You never ever want to let him know that, though, Daryl, right?
No way.
The guy behind you, you always want to make him think, whether I'm hurt or not, I'm better than you. Don't even think about taking my job.
Here's a halftime report coming up from Foxborough. 3rd down and 3. And the pass broken up. Nice play by Dan Morgan, who got a hand in.
Chad Lewis going down there trying to use some of his veteran skills that he's acquired over the year and create a little separation with the shoulder turn. Must have watched a lot of Michael Irvin tape to learn that one.
So the Eagles send out David Akers for a 55-yard attempt.
This is
season-long 51, career-long Daryl 57.
Yeah, interesting call. This is going to be great field position for Carolina if they miss that.
It's a fake.
He kicked it too good. It went in. There it is, over the close.
So the pooch punt by Akers, instead of attempting a 55-yard field goal. Andy Reid agreed with you. It would have been terrific field position for Carolina had he missed.
Yeah, keep them guessing. You know, keep them you know, frustrated by what's happened to the season, by what's happened to him here in the first half. And, you know, that was an opportunity. If David Akers doesn't make that, they've got great field position. And we did the Giant Cowboy game last week, and Dallas really controlled the first half, especially the second quarter. Had an opportunity where they were going to go in, you know, 10-6 or 10-3 at least, maybe 13-3. They have a turnover at midfield. The Giants went down, got a field goal right at the end of the half to get the 10-6, and they used all that momentum to come out and really take control of the game in the second half. I agree with that call. Even though they're at the 20, they didn't execute it right. You're still forcing Carolina to go the distance.
And keep in mind, the Panthers have already used 2 of their 3 timeouts. Nick Goings out to the 29. A gain of 9 with 1 minute remaining. As you saw a moment ago, Terrell Owens has outgained the entire Panthers offense by himself in this first half. 2nd and 1. Alone to Goings, and he stops the clock, gets out of bounds, picks up the first down at the 32-yard line with 43 seconds left.
Carolina got some positive yards on that first run, and then they kind of slip into their hurry-up mode. Nick Goings does a good job getting out of bounds, stopping the clock. But this, you know, Carolina has to have something positive. I mean, there's been so much speculation during the week of what their season is going to be like. You know, people looking ahead to their games and where they could be at the end of October. But they've got to stay one game at a time. And in this game, you know, one half at a time. Let's get something positive before we go in the locker room.
Panthers need to go about 35 yards to get into field goal range for Casey. Malone airing it out. Looking for Ricky Prohl. 38 seconds. Clock stops. Eagles leading the Panthers 13-0.
You watch Jake Delhomme buy some time because all the pressure is going to be coming from the top here. They pick it up, and then Javon Curse is going to beat Matt Willig to the outside. That was the big hit previously. Jake slides a little bit to his left to buy himself a little extra time there to get that ball off.
2nd and 10 coming up. Panthers still have that 1 timeout, should they need it, from the 32. Across the 40 to the 42-yard line, Muhammad, and he uses that timeout. Gain of 11. A Panthers first down. So with 29 seconds remaining in the first half, Panthers hoping to get something out of this drive. Eagles lead by 13. Panthers out of timeouts. 29 seconds to go in the half. Line of scrimmage, their own 43. Muhammad in motion.
Got to get one of them.
Sheldon Brown coming on the blitz, and Delhomme forced to throw it away.
Well, Jordan Gross, he's got 2 guys. He's got to pick one. You pick the inside guy because he's got the most direct path to the quarterback. Here he is right here. Now, he's going to come out on one of these 2 guys, but you got to pick one and block him. He tried to get them both, and the Eagles defenders did a good job of getting away from each other so he couldn't use one of them to get in the path of the other. But you got to pick one. Pick the inside guy, wash him down to the outside, force Michael Lewis, number 32, to run a big arc around to try and get to Jake Delhomme.
26 seconds remaining from the 43. Delhomme out of the pocket. Mangum, the catch, gets out of bounds at the 48 with 18 seconds.
Just don't seem to be able to get on track with anything offensively right now. It's improvisation. Chris Mangum, a good catch right there. The ball on his back shoulder, able to pull that one back in, gets out of bounds. But Carolina's really been frustrated. They came out in the first quarter and they were able to run the ball and do some things, but all of a sudden, you know, the game shifts. You start giving up your big plays. You find yourself down 13 and you start to press to get back into it.
Still need to get between 15 and 20 yards downfield and get out of bounds to stop the clock. 3rd down and 5. Over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Nick Goings.
You think they were trying that old hook and ladder play there?
It may have been.
It was an odd finish to that play. I couldn't find somebody coming across. It looked like Ricky Prohl was trying to pass that one off to somebody.
Yeah, there was somebody there, Daryl. Looked like I didn't know who it was, though.
They're catch back at the 15-yard line, 37-yard punt by Sauerbrunn.
They need to keep their eyes on Jake DeLone, make sure he's all right. Keep checking with him every time he comes over. Looks like his neck is bothering him a little bit. Hopefully it's not anything, you know, along the lines of a concussion. Just the way he got hit, and then as he went forward, actually got pinned by his lineman in front that was in protection.
DeLone 10 of 16, 82 yards. One interception. There's Rodney Peete, the former Eagle. Started 24 games for Philadelphia back in the mid to late 90s. Eagles will run out the clock with a 13-point lead. Couple of Akers field goals and a Dorsey Levens 1-yard touchdown run, and 2 big pass plays from McNabb to Terrell Owens.
That was the big thing in that half when Carolina didn't give up the big play, whether it was special teams or Terrell Owens on the offensive side of the ball. They were able to stop Philadelphia from getting points, but other than that, not many things went right for them.
So the Eagles lead 13-0. The Visa halftime report is next. We get set for the start of the second half. Eagles out on top 13-0 over the Carolina Panthers as we take a look at the first half numbers.
And the big one there is the turnover by the Carolina Panthers, but in the middle of all these yards, the 190 total yards by the Philadelphia Eagles, over 100 of that, just 2 plays to Terrell Owens, and then that big 66-yard kickoff return to open the game. The big plays in the first half were the difference for the Eagles.
A look at our fantasy stats from the first half. McNabb 179 yards. He was 9 of 18. Stephen Davis 33 yards in his return. And Terrell Owens 123 yards in all, had catches for 51 and 53 yards. Onside kick. Some trickery from Andy Reid to start the second half. Remember, he once started a season in Dallas with an onside kick, and the Eagles have recovered it.
So Andy Reid realizes in that first half that it was the big plays that were the difference. So he comes out. He wants to continue to establish field position. Special teams was so important in the first half with that big return for a touchdown. Jeremiah Trotter down at the bottom of that pile. Now, when you do this play, you see something before there where either Gerard Cooper was bailing out before he was, or Vinny Churchill, they were doing something where they were coming out too soon, or by their alignment that he felt he could get the ball into that area of the field and his team could recover it. There's Jeremiah Trotter, number 54, coming up with it.
So Andy Reid, along with John Harbaugh, one of the top special teams coaches in the NFL.
It's just kind of a continuation of the aggressive play by the Philadelphia Eagles this year. There it goes. Once it crosses the 40-yard line, anybody can touch it. Greg Lewis almost makes a great effort, but everybody moving to the ball. You know, everybody continues to move to the ball. Jeremiah Trotter comes up with it, but we've seen aggressive play calling on the offensive side of the ball. Right there, we see some aggressive play from special teams by the Philadelphia Eagles.
The red flag's out, guys. Looks like we're going to have a challenge on that.
I wonder if they're going to go back and take a look and see if somebody was offsides. The first thing you tell the group when you're going to do a surprise onside kick is not to be offsides, because the ball was definitely touched beyond 10 yards. It wasn't touched early. So I would be interested to find out what John Fox is trying to challenge.
I don't think you can take a look at whether or not a player was offside.
No, guys, it looks like I'm here pretty close, and John's telling him that he wants him to check and see if the player was down, and they're saying that he can't check that. So right now he's in a little bit of an argument with all the officials.
He's questioning if who was down, Tony.
I don't know. I thought maybe one of his players were down with the ball, and then they took it out later, I guess. We'll find out right here.
The recovery of a kick or a fumble is not challengeable. First down.
So the Eagles, for the second time today, start a drive in Carolina territory as we take one more look Ball was definitely across the 40. And then Trotter reaches out right here.
Maybe he thinks that Traveris Tillman was in possession and Jeremiah Trotter took it away from him on the bottom of the pile.
No gain for Westbrook on the first down carry. Al Wallace, the former Eagle, brought him down. Eagles have started more drives, Daryl, this season in their opponent's territory than any other team in the NFL.
It's just, I mean, they create their opportunities, and we saw it earlier today with the big kickoff return. Their special teams again with a surprise on side. So, yeah, Philadelphia, I mean, they've got so many weapons. The last thing you want to do is give them a short field, but they've got it quite a bit this season.
From the 48, McNabb takes off. Gains 8 down to the 40. Dan Morgan, the tackle, setting up third down and 2.
It was a pretty athletic play by Dan Morgan because he's really got Donovan in space. I mean, this is going to be very difficult. You know, Donovan is very, very athletic when he starts to scramble. He's got his receiver. He moves over. He's able to keep his flow from inside out. Donovan tries to get back underneath him, but a very athletic play by Dan Morgan on Donovan McNabb out in space.
Jacksonville coach Jack Del Rio, former defensive coordinator with Carolina, he says that Dan Morgan is quicker than Ray Lewis. We'll have to ask Tony about that. As Westbrook is bottled up, hit for a loss of a couple of yards, loss of 2. Tony, what do you think? Is Dan Morgan quicker than Ray Lewis?
I got a chance to work out with Dan Morgan down in Florida his rookie year when he came into the league. And let me tell you something. He runs about as fast a 40 as he needs to run. This guy has amazing speed, strong. They thought he was undersized when he came in, but obviously has proved he just got to stay healthy. You know, he's had some injuries here and there, but he's can't come back from them. He just has to go out there and play his game, and his game is speed.
He was tremendous in the Super Bowl, 25 tackles. Fair catch called for at the 10 by Broussard. So the Eagles unable to capitalize after recovering the onside kick to begin the half.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 39.
13-0 Eagles. Panthers will take over on their own 10-yard line after their defense held the Eagles following the Eagles' recovery of an onside kick.
That was a huge stop by the defense because we talked about Carolina trying to get some positive momentum going in at halftime, maybe getting some points in that hurry-up situation. For Philadelphia to come out in the opening of the second half and do the surprise onside, take it down and get more points, you just start to wonder how much Carolina can handle when you're talking about the adversity they faced this year.
Along with the handoff, Davis. Big push. Tony, you chat with John Fox at halftime?
Yeah, you know, John told me that he wanted to go and try and run Stephen Davis a little bit more. Let him go out there and break a couple nice runs and set this Eagles defense up for a nice play action. So obviously it started out with a Stephen Davis run. Let's see if we see that play action coming up.
Tony, what I really want to know is what kind of a meal your mom prepared for John Fox when he was an assistant coach at Pittsburgh and he recruited you.
Well, you know, with a name like Fox, I know he hasn't eaten a lot of good spaghetti. So my mom hooked him up with some nice spaghetti and meatballs.
And it did the trick. You became,
looks so.
You became a Panther. Here's the pitch on second down, and Davis picks up the first down to the 23. Von Kurst made the tackle, gain of 6, and a Panthers first down.
I think the impressive thing when everybody was talking about what Carolina did here in Philadelphia in the championship game last year, the fact that they were so effective running the ball and taking time off the clock, and I think that that's what John Fox, they need to get back to right now. They're about 50-50 right now, run and pass. They were very, very heavy run versus pass last year. Jake Delhomme only threw 14. That is the style that Carolina's got to get to. They started out the game effectively running the ball, but then as the score started to get away, they shifted their approach.
Play action on first down. Taking it up to the 33-yard line is Davis out of bounds as he gains 10.
There's a play action that Tony was talking about. They get all the deep receivers down the field and slip Stephen Davis out into the flat, and that's probably going to be one of the things that he's going to have to work on as he moves forward after that injury, is his conditioning. You know, the knee is going to feel good. He's going to feel like he can cut laterally and have a little bit of that burst, but his conditioning is going to take him a couple of weeks to get back in where he can be that guy who's on the field for a heavy number of snaps.
Davis underwent arthroscopic surgery on that right knee 1 month ago today, September 17th. Malone to the air on first down, a bit high, intended for Muhammad, who had 4 catches in the first half.
This week, Stephen Davis, we've seen what he's been able to do on the field. Last week, he wanted to be out there, but the coaches decided that it wasn't in their best interest. So to keep himself busy on the sideline, he's munching on some sunflower seeds all day. His guys gave him a phone call after that game and said, hey, you got to get back out and start playing, because you look awful silly on the side chewing sunflower seeds all day.
Yeah, they said every time we saw you on TV, you were spitting out those seeds. 2nd and 10 from the 33. Brad Hoover out to the 37-yard line, gain of 4.
And even with Stephen Davis being able to play today, we are seeing a little bit of that running back by committee that the Panthers would have been forced to do on a full-time basis had he not played. You see Brad Hoover get into some of the one-back sets and do some of the power running. We've seen Nick Goings come in and carry the ball a little bit. We saw an opportunity for a big play on the outside with him earlier. So Carolina still knowing that Stephen Davis is not 100%, not wanting to take a chance on having him have a setback. So giving some reps to the other running backs on the team.
3rd down and 6. They have to get to the 43. Picked off. 2nd interception today for the Eagles. It's Roderick Hood.
And Jake Delhomme, he wants to have this one back. This was an ill-advised throw. And what Philadelphia is being able to do right now, I mean, there's 3 guys right there, and Roderick Hood ends up with the ball, but a couple other guys could have had it too. Michael Lewis is going to fold off of it. But they're just able to generate pressure with their front 4 right now. They had a big push over to the side there. He moves off to the left. Maybe he's feeling a little bit of that pressure and expecting man-to-man coverage downfield, but Philadelphia is able to generate it with just their front 4, and they're able to put all those guys back in zone coverage.
Here's Westbrook, a penalty flag, as Westbrook gains 3 down to the 26.
Holding, 81 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's Owens.
And earlier in that first half, there's Javon Curse coming in, kind of helmet to helmet, but then I think the big problem came is Jake Delhomme as he went forward. You'll see right here on Tutan Reyes, number 76, his left guard. His head, there was nowhere for the force to go. The force went into his back, and he has been kind of rotating his neck like he jammed his neck. And there's an odd thing right there. I don't know, maybe Jake knows something that we don't know as he throws his 2nd interception today to be 7-2 with 2 interceptions thrown.
And now about 1st and 20. Dumping it off to Westbrook. And he gains some yardage back following the penalty down to the 32. Gain of 7 as Van Morgan and Westbrook involved in some trash talk. Eagles, by the way, had only 1 interception over their first 4 games. That by Ike Reese, and they have 2 today. Dhani Jones and then Roderick Hood with his 2nd career pick.
Their big advantage in the turnover ratio is the fact that they're not giving the ball up. They've done a great job without not throwing interceptions, not putting the ball on the ground.
They've committed only 3 turnovers all season. 2nd and 13. Pass was tipped by Julius Peppers. Peppers, of course, the former college basketball player at North Carolina, and McNabb played hoops at Syracuse.
Julius Peppers, though, he is a great athlete. He gets up into the face of the quarterback, able to elevate and get his hands up. And to watch him last week, and a lot of guys have given him probably a little bit of a ribbing to go 101 yards with an interception and not get the touchdown. But if you saw the play before that, he expended so much energy saving a touchdown on the 3rd and goal that he just had very little left. I was surprised that he could go as far as he did.
3rd and 13. Westbrook stopped about 6 yards shy of the marker. Gain of 7, but he needed 13.
And they're going to tease him, but watch him. Here he is right here. Watch him chase Jake Plummer down. I mean, that is amazing. He had the corner. Now, this is the very next play. And he's going to go 101 yards and get tackled around the 3-yard line. But the play before, I think, taxed him so much. He needed somebody on his team to look back instead of looking inside to pick up Rod Smith.
Most defensive linemen would have been out on that first play there.
Exactly. He would have been on the sideline, not even with a chance for the pick.
What was your longest return, Goose?
I think it was 1 yard.
That's it, huh?
But I still took a break.
Akers connects from 43, his 3rd field goal today. Eagles leading 16-0. Not only are they unbeaten this season, but 5-0 after a bye under Andy Reid. And we asked Andy about that, and he says you have to be careful coming off that bye week. You have 2 weeks to prepare for one opponent. He says you have to be concise.
I thought the good thing he did is he gave his guys time away, even his coaches. Get them some time away from the office, away from the practice field, and allow them to get fresh. And then, yeah, we've got 2 weeks to get ready for the next opponent, but let's not go throw a bunch of brand new stuff in. And I think sometimes coaches, they get some idle time and they want to start drawing up some X's and O stuff.
Well, whatever they did the last 2 weeks has worked. 16-0 Eagles. Tony Siragusa has a new toy to play with, operating our Techno Crane camera down on the field.
This could be scary.
How does it feel, Goose?
You got to love this. There's some ugly people out here, man. Wow. I think I see some of my family.
71, offense, 5 yards, false start, still first down.
Boy, both the tackles today for the Carolina Panthers have struggled being able to stay in their stance. Have had a couple on each one, Jordan Gross and Matt Willig, and you get those speed guys on the outside. You're on the road, and you're just so anxious to get out of there. And again, you know, the things that are within their control, now they find themselves in 1st and 15. They wanted to avoid the 3rd and longs, but they have not done a good job this afternoon, and a lot of it is because of penalties on 1st down.
From the 19-yard line, following the penalty, Davis down to the 23. Gain of 4. Matt Willard called for that last penalty. Picked up a huge penalty in the 4th quarter in Denver last week. He was actually hit in the face by a flag thrown by one of the officials, and then he picked it up and tossed it away.
Yeah, and you can't grab the flag as a player. Once you touch it, it's going to be a penalty. But you know, a lot of people felt that was the cost of the game, and I disagree. You gave up over 200 yards on the ground. You know, there's a lot of other reasons that Carolina didn't win that game at Denver, and I'm not going to bring it all the way down to one play by Matt Willard.
2nd down and 11. The toss to Davis. Out to the 27. Setting up 3rd down and about 7 as we say hello once again to Jeannie Zalasko. Jeannie.
Hi, Kenny. The Packers of Detroit doing their best impersonation of a team that is not 1-4 offensively and defensively. Darren Sharper, right place, right time to pick the Joe Harrington pass. And guess what? The return. 36 yards for the score. Packers on front, 24-10.
Packers looking to end that 4-game losing streak, their only win opening week against these Carolina Panthers.
They haven't won yet at Lambeau. How strange is that?
3rd down and 7. Delhomme to Mangum for the 1st down. Chris Mangum out to the 39-yard line for a gain of 12.
And this offense has got to do some positive stuff because their defense, starting this 2nd half, has done a good job of keeping them in the game. They had the surprise onside, and then they also had the interception, and have only given up 3 more points on those 2 short fields. So offensively, they've got to get a drive going and move down the field, take some time, get some points.
So New England leading Seattle. It's now 20-9 Patriots as the Pats go for their 20th consecutive win, their 17th straight in the regular season. Brad Hoover. And Hoover picks up another 1st down into Eagles territory. Gain of 12. You know, you talk about that Patriots 19-game win streak, including playoffs, and overlooked somewhat by the national media, certainly not here in Philadelphia. During that same stretch, Daryl, the Eagles have gone 16-3.
And that's a testament to what those two teams have done in the era of free agency. I mean, it's even more difficult today. But right there's a 50-50 split with the play calling for the Carolina Panthers. They wanted to be more heavy on the run. They wanted to be able to be more successful running the football today.
Daryl fires downfield looking for Colbert. And it's broken up by the left corner, Lito Shepard.
And that's the situation we talked with Terrell Owens earlier in the game. His strength at the point of the catch. This is all you can ask for. A jump ball situation down in the end zone. Lito Shepard against Kerry Colbert. Kerry Colbert has got to make that catch. He did a good job of getting back into position, got himself in front of Lito Shepard. Lito got turned around, lost track of the ball. He's got to finish that play.
Colbert, second-round pick out of USC, had a terrific preseason and stepped into that starting role following the injury suffered by Steve Smith. Second and 10. Oh, Davis gets a hard hit from Brian Dawkins.
This is going to be even helped out by his fullback. Brad Hoover went outside in motion. He was going to come back inside and crack on Brian Dawkins. You see him right here as he goes in motion. Now he's going to come back in and crack, and he hits him right into Stephen Davis. There he comes. He's coming in. He thinks Brad's going to be able to get him crack out of the play, but a little bit, and he just disappears right out of frame.
Out of the play, out of the picture.
Again, that's about the third big hit we have seen from this Philadelphia defense this afternoon.
Empty backfield. Picked off for the third time is the low. Shepard down the sideline. Lito Shepard takes it all the way into the end zone for the Eagles touchdown. He stayed in bounds, a 62-yard return.
Chris Manga mistimed his jump on the pass, so he's coming down as the ball is coming in, goes over his head. But watch the hustle. Here's your receiver going to be out here on the side. Watch him jump. He's kind of coming down as the ball comes in. There's the interception, but watch the Philadelphia defenders get over here to make sure that Lito Shepard gets in the end zone. Look at all the blocks, the hesitation right there. Corey Simon, what a great job of getting that final block. But all the hustle, did you see all the Eagles players in that frame making sure that their guy got in the end zone?
First career touchdown for Shepard. Akers adds the point after. 62 yards on the return. Another big play by the Eagles today.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Singular Wireless. By Campbell's Chunky Chili, mouth-watering chili that's worthy of any tailgate party. And by the personal financial advisors of American Express.
The Eagles in a rout, now leading Carolina 23-0. Following the interception return, officially 64 yards by Lito Shepard for a Philadelphia touchdown. This is Mike Seidman, the backup tight end. Takes the short kickoff out to the 37, 13 yards on the return. We have seen these very stylish pink caps with the Eagles logo throughout Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles donating $5 from the sale of every pink Eagles hat here at the stadium or bought on the team website to the fight against breast cancer. The initiative announced this week called the Eagles Tackling Breast Cancer.
Yeah. Tony Siragusa, our guy down on the sideline, taking part. Also a great cause. Hopefully you'll see more and more pink Eagles hats in the future.
Tony, you look good in pink.
Hey, I'll do anything to go and help out a good cause. I think bringing that awareness up is awesome. So I don't care how I look, Kenny. I think I look good.
Very nice. Stephen Davis gaining 12 out to the 48-yard line as the Panthers look to get something going offensively. Globe has been picked off 3 times, twice here in the third quarter.
You know, Moose, I still question whether he's at 100% or not. Them last couple throws I saw really didn't look like the Jeff Delhomme that we both know.
No, the first one he threw into coverage. That second one, I'll put a little bit on Chris Mangum. It looked like he missed time to jump, but I agree, Tony. I don't think he's 100% from that hit by Javon Curse early in the first half.
And you got such warriors. I mean, you don't want to come out of the game just like Jenkins didn't want to come out of the game the last couple of weeks. And after reevaluating yourself, you wonder, should I have stayed in? Have I really hurt the team, or am I looking out for myself?
Yeah.
So Delhomme hanging in there. Seidman picked up the first down on the previous play from the Eagles 38. Nick Goings in the backfield. And Delhomme dumps it off, but Goings loses a couple of yards as we check in once again with Jeannie.
From one unbeaten team to another. 3 minutes to go in the third. Here come the 5-0 Jets. Lamont Jordan, 17 yards for the score. It's 14-9, right? Jets decide to go for 2. It does not work. It's still 14-9.
Well, the Jets at 4-0. They've never started a season 5-0. Look to do just that. And they trail the 49ers by 5. Second down and 13 from the Eagles 41. Nick Goings. And again, a good burst into the backfield by the Eagles defense. This time it's Hugh Douglas.
Again, it's so hard to get the corner on the Eagles defense. They're so athletic. Hugh Douglas right here just does a good job of team defense. His job is to protect the outside. He fights off the block of Jordan Gross, gets upfield, maintained his gap, gets Nick Goings to the ground.
Believe it or not, the
here's another
down 6 times.
And that's another big thing. Philadelphia wanted to force them into 3rd and 10. Carolina wanted to stay away from it. You saw what happened last year when they lost in the regular season. They had a lot of 3rd and 10s. In the championship game, they didn't. But unfortunately today, they've gotten into situations where they've gotten themselves behind the 8 ball and down in distance, and they've gotten into those 3rd and longs, and a lot of it are just those careless little penalties on first down, starting out 1st and 15.
You talk about deceiving statistics, Daryl. In this third quarter, the Panthers have actually outgained the Eagles on offense 87 yards to 11. Yet Philadelphia has the only 10 points of the quarter.
Sometimes stats just don't make sense.
In fact, the Panthers have gained more yardage than the Eagles over the entire game today on offense.
Too many big plays against them. And there's that Eagle defense. They set the tone early. They came out. They are really starting to hit their stride. It started against Detroit. They continued it against Chicago, and now they're out here again playing very well today. The one big thing, they're generating turnovers, but some of the big hits early in the game that really set the tempo for this game. And I love the hustle on that last play, especially Corey Simon, a big defensive tackle, getting 45, 50 yards down the field to throw the critical block to allow Lito Shepherd to get in the end zone.
Following the punt, Eagles take over at their own 11. First 11 gains 2 after the 13.
Here's the other thing. We talked about the 3rd and 10s, but the other factor today have been the big plays. They only had 3 50-plus plays today, and look at what they have here today. They've got 4, but they've got 1 special teams, they've got 1 from their defense, and they've got 2 from their offense. So you talk about football being a game of 3 phases, and all 3 phases for the Eagles today have produced a 50-plus yard play, and really we'll throw in that surprise onside by the special teams group to start the half, generating great field position.
Pass was caught by Kingston, forced out of bounds by Manning at the 17 after a gain of 4. Final minute, third quarter here in Philadelphia. Kenny Albert, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Siragusa, our field analyst.
Nice job on that, Kenny.
Still operating that techno crane, Tony?
Now, they threw me off. They were going to find me if I stayed on it. The league was over there yelling at me.
Still wearing the pink Eagles cap. 3rd down and 4. Down to the outside. First catch today for Greg Lewis. As time winds down in this 3rd quarter, a gain of 9. An Eagles first down. They lead it 23-0. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Well, Jake Delhomme not enjoying this day as much as he did the NFC Championship game here back in January. Eagles have a 23-0 lead over the Panthers as we get set to start the 4th quarter. You're watching Fox Sports, broadcasting in the world's finest high-definition standard. Eagles have still not trailed at the end of any quarter this season. Play fake. McNabb looking downfield. Now throws, and it's intercepted by Ricky Manning Jr., who had 3 in the NFC Championship game here in January. It's his 2nd interception of this 2004 regular season.
Donovan McNabb just trying to press a little bit right there. He had L.J. Smith beyond everybody, but he didn't get it out far enough. We've seen a couple of passes completed when it's been underthrown on a deeper pass. But Ricky Manning Jr., he's in the area. He comes off of his guy. And L.J. Smith is going to make the catch in front of Brandon Short. But it's a heady play by Ricky Manning Jr.
He has 9 career interceptions if you count the postseason, 4 of the 9 here at Lincoln Financial Field. Best starting field position of the day for Carolina as Brad Hoover gains 5 yards, takes it into Eagles territory.
Yeah, but it's time for Carolina to start getting aggressive in their play calling. They're down 23 as we start the 4th quarter. And here's the big thing that this Eagles defense has done. I mean, that is very impressive, not to have any points off of the 3 turnovers this season. So we'll see if on this drive they can keep that stat perfect. But, you know, I've always felt it's not necessarily the turnover, but what happens after the turnover. And this Eagles defense has done a great job covering up for their offensive teammates.
Only the 2nd interception thrown by McNabb. Hoover down at the 46-yard line with Mark Semino all over him. Gain of 2. Setting up 3rd down and about 4.
You know, sometimes you don't get that momentum swing down. You talk about turnovers and having to turn them into points. If a team gets a turnover, it's one thing, but if you can't score, it sort of takes and deflates you right then and there. You know, you got to score on turnovers, and the Eagles have just shut people down over and over again, and you feel like there's you know, nothing else that you could possibly do.
Brad Hoover picks up the 1st down and more down to the 36-yard line. Gain of 9 for Hoover.
It's kind of a difficult situation to be in here at this point. The one thing that you know you have to do is try and get some points quick. But you also can't expose your quarterback. You can't become one-dimensional where you're just dropping back and throwing passes. And Jake Delhomme talked about this Eagles defense. And, you know, what he said, the fact that they're always playing with a lead. They're always able to be aggressive. They can pin their ears back and come back after the quarterback because they're not having to worry about anything. They're playing from the front, and their goal today was to get them playing from behind, but they haven't been able to do that.
Colbert on 1st down. Gains 9 down to the 27-yard line.
Make the call!
So the Panthers looking to break the shutout with 12.5 remaining. Daryl, you played against Jim Johnston defenses throughout your career, and you made an interesting statement the other day. You said, I would get headaches during the week just thinking about it.
Oh, they make you worry about so many different things that you add practice time. You're trying to cover all your bases, and there's just so much thinking that's involved going against that defense. And, yeah, he's getting in your head, and he's 1,500 miles away from where you're practicing. And, you know, sometimes you know you're not going to be perfect against him. And sometimes you don't even know what you're going to get. I really don't feel, you know, he's been he's been very, very calculated in how he's blitzed today. There's a certain area where he feels he's going to be able to get to the quarterback. And that's the interesting thing, talking to Dan Henning on Saturday, was, he doesn't consider Jim Johnston to be a guy that takes risks. He said he's very calculated. He knows the percentages. He knows when it's the right time to call the blitz, and he usually has the right one on. Just like that right there. They come free. It's amazing how many times you watch this Philadelphia Eagle defense and have a free blitzer come in and hit your quarterback.
What he does, Daryl, is every week, the next week, he shows you the same set where you think that one blitz is coming, and he sends a different guy. That's what really is hard to confuse you, because you watch so much film on saying, hey, who's going to come, and it's just deception.
That sack by Dawkins, the first Eagles sack today. They've averaged 4.5 per game. Every starter except Michael Lewis has a sack this season for the Eagles. 13 different Eagles with sacks. Second down and 19. Malone goes down again, and there is a flag. This time it's Sam Rayburn.
That's going to be offensive holding on top of it, because he was getting pulled down. I don't even know how Sam got there. But here's the other thing with Jim Johnston, and Dan Henning knew this going into it. He said once you get down to around the 30-yard line, a lot of times that's when the pressure kicks in.
The player that was on defense that was being held made the tackle. By rule, that is not holding.
So sacks on back-to-back plays.
And what they do is they force you out of field goal range. Now, we had this all the way back. We had 1st and 10 at the 22. Now look where they are. They're at 3rd down at the 41-yard line. And what Jim Johnston does, the reason that this defense is so successful is because they keep points off the board. And part of that is his philosophy. When you get into that scoring zone, he's going to start bringing pressure to force you out and not be able to kick a field goal.
So the Panthers lose 19 yards on the back-to-back sacks of Delhomme, who dumps it off to Mangum. And he's tripped up by Dhani Jones at the 34. And let's see what John Fox and Dan Henning decide to do here. It will be about a 51-yard field goal attempt. 4th down and 22. Delhomme looking over toward the sidelines, and will send out the punter, Todd Sauerbrunn.
Well, the Eagles remain perfect this season. No points after turnovers again. They get all the way down near the 20-yard line, and 2 big sacks force them out of an opportunity to get some points.
Mahe run into by Brad Hoover. Mahe was signaling fair catch. Eagles get the ball back, leading 23-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by Budweiser. Enjoy a cold, fresh Budweiser, because fresh beer tastes better.
Early 4th quarter, Eagles leading 23-0. No penalty here because Hoover pushed an Eagle into Reno Mahe. It was Ike Reese who was steered into Mahe by Brad Hoover. Coming up, Game 4 of the National League Championship Series. Cardinals and Astros. St. Louis leading 2-1, followed by the Yankees and the Red Sox. Eagles starting from their own 16-yard line as McNabb dumps it off, and Dan Morgan brings down Westbrook after a gain of just 1. Jason Marquis, his first season in St. Louis, former Atlanta Brave, 15-game winner on the mound for the Cardinals tonight against 20-game winner Roy Oswalt. How about Roger Clemens in yesterday's game, Daryl?
Amazing. It's unbelievable what that guy has been able to do, the longevity of his career, and how successful he's been throughout the entire career.
And then El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, who's had a terrific season up against Derek Lowe in the ALCS Game 4 tonight. Incomplete, intended for Owens. Will Witherspoon on the coverage. Eagles on the verge of doing something that has not been done but once over the last 35 years, and that is win their first 5 games by 10 or more points each. The only team to do that in the last 35 years, the 1999 St. Louis Rams.
Really?
Won their first 5 games by 10 or more points. The Eagles leading this one by 23. 3rd down and 8.
Well, if there's one thing that Carolina has done well today, they have kept Brian Westbrook in check. I don't know if that is going to mean anything to him at the end of this game, but you know, he was the guy that they were worried about. But it has been Terrell Owens that has been the difference maker today.
Owens with 4 catches all in the first half for 123 yards. Westbrook only 32 yards of total offense. Came into this game second in the NFC in yards from scrimmage, trailing only Tiki Barber. But the Panthers have held him in check today. The Eagles have done it, as you've talked about. Big plays on special teams. The interception return. The touchdown by Shepard. A flag as the punter Johnston was run into by Chris Gamble.
There's a block point where you go to take the ball off the punter's foot, and if you can't get there, you veer off, so you don't have a situation where you're going to get called for probably roughing the kicker here, which is going to give Philadelphia the ball back.
Looked like Gamble tried to hold up, but was not successful.
It's just running into the kicker, maybe.
Running into the kicker.
That'll help.
20 of the defense. 5 yards. It's still 4th down.
I don't understand one sometimes. If you know you're going to run into him, why not hit him? You know, I mean, if you're going to get the penalty, you know, hit the guy. Don't, like, back off a little bit. I mean, I don't know, Daryl. What do you think?
Well, it all starts from the beginning. You know if you can get there or not. And, you know, as you're coming up the middle, you're unblocked, but you also have to see where the punter was in his progression. And Chris Gamble wasn't going to get there. So then, you know, your next decision is, all right, let me get out of here so I don't give this the official an opportunity to get me for roughing the kicker.
I think people don't understand how hard it is going straight at the punter and trying to get the ball blocked.
Jamal Broussard did not have a lane up the sidelines, tried to go the other way, and Jason Short hit him for a loss of 3. The Eagles coasting today. They lead the Panthers 23-0. And despite what has taken place on the field today, this will still not erase the memories for the Eagles players who were here in January.
No, this is October. This game doesn't have the meaning that the one back in January did, and the frustration that it was their 3rd attempt to get to the Super Bowl, and they came up short. And again, for the 2nd year in a row, and against an opponent they had beaten during the regular season. So this is just a continuation of the progress that the Eagles are making in their quest to get back to the position to win one game and go to the Super Bowl. And as you pointed out, I mean, a huge stat, you know, the fact that double-digit wins in their first 5 games, and you know, you don't realize that only one other team in that length of time had been able to accomplish that, and strangely enough, went on to win the Super Bowl. So maybe a predictor there for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, the Eagles have beaten the Giants by 14, the Vikings by 11, Lions by 17, and the Bears by 10. Only team this season to win every game by 10 or more points. Look at Stephen Davis, who returned from that knee problem, which caused him to miss the last 3 games. Davis with 66 yards on the ground today. Malone's pass tipped at the line by Hugh Douglas, and we hear the chants of Hugh from the crowd here at Lincoln Financial Field.
It was one of the good things for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, Hugh Douglas has come back, Jeremiah Trotter has come back, and they have added things, you know, beyond the football field. They're great in the locker room. They're great in the meetings. You know, some of these guys are so important for the chemistry of a football team, and 2 valuable additions that came back to the Philadelphia Eagles after going on in the free agent market to other teams.
3rd down and 5. Empty backfield, Muhammad in motion. Panthers have to get to the 44. And they do, as the pass is caught by Ricky Prohl for a first down. Tackled by Ike Reese after a gain of 10. Jets, looking to remain unbeaten, have come back. They lead the 49ers by a point.
Still say that that two-point conversion thing, that's much too early for them to have gone to that two-point conversion try. That still could come back and bite them, because at 15-14, it's just a field goal away to 17, and I'm sure that a couple of those miscues have come on two-point conversions.
New set of downs for the Panthers from the 49. Muhammad never stopped running.
They have been out of their comfort zone all afternoon on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, they have played very well. Seattle coming back, making a game of it up there in New England. But defensively, they played well today. You know, they were on a short field a couple of times and came out and made some stops. They've given up the big play, but offensively, it just never seems like Carolina was able to get into a comfort zone. And maybe Stephen Davis isn't 100% yet. Well, obviously, he's not 100% yet. The fact that Jake Delhomme took the big hit early in the game, they just seem to be a little bit out of sync all afternoon.
Carolina's defense has held the Eagles' offense to just the one touchdown. Nick Goings takes it all the way down to the 30, gain of 19. As the clock winds down, we approach 6 minutes remaining here in Philadelphia. The Eagles have saved the football from Dorsey Levin's one-yard touchdown run.
I need to know more about the significance of that. You know,
well, didn't Emmett used to save all of his?
Well, yeah, and that's true. But I mean, is Dorsey, is he planning on beating that record? But you know, we got to find Muhsin Muhammad's 500th catch. You know, that's the one that we got to keep track of this afternoon.
Sid didn't want to give that one up. Delhomme underneath to Hoover. You ever see Emmett's collection of his touchdown footballs?
They were down in his card shop down in Florida for a long time, and you know, I used to see him at the end of the season every year. They'd come in, you know, weekly when they take him out and get him painted, and you know, it was tremendous foresight on Emmett's part. The fact that he started keeping him his rookie year and ended up, you know, being very meaningful by the end of his career. But he's going to need quite a room to get all those balls on display.
From the 26, second down and 6. Delhomme to a wide-open Muhammad. And Muhammad tackled at the 11-yard line, picks up another Panthers first down.
This could be becoming a little frustrating for Andy Reid, because one of the things he said, his defense is progressing and taking the steps necessary to become a better unit. But the one thing he wants to see them do is be able to finish games. They had a big touchdown run to Tiki Barber in week 1. They've given up points late in the game when the game has kind of gone in their favor. He wants to see his defense maintain its intensity and be able to finish the game. He talked about pitching a shutout, and they've got that position right now with 4:20 to go.
Hoover. The Eagles have not pitched a shutout, Daryl, since 1996. December 1st, 96 against the Giants. They've got 119 regular season games since then. Ray Rhodes was the head coach back in 96. But the Panthers threatening on the Eagles' 2-yard line.
And one of the things that this defense is so good at is points allowed. They always do they're always near the top of the league in that stat. And it's surprising for me to see that it's been that long since this Eagles defense has pitched a shutout.
From the 2, Delhomme looking end zone, pump fakes, now throws, it's broken up and nearly intercepted by Javon Curse in coverage.
How athletic is that guy? I mean, he is guarding a tight end in goal line defense the entire way. Here he is. He's going to match up with him right at the snap of the ball. He's not even, it's like an outside linebacker. He does a good job of forcing him around the hump. Watch this now. There's a little collision right there, and look at the extension for him to get out there and knock that ball away. That is an incredibly athletic play by a big man.
You know, Javon ran right by me. I thought it was just a huge corner. But it was Javon Curse. It was unbelievable.
Goings and Hoover in the backfield. This is Hoover.
He's not going to get it. All right, Tony, what do? You kick the field goal and get 3 out of it, or you go for it?
No way. You got to punch this in, man. You can't go to not get the shutout. I mean, that would be horrible. You got to go and punch this thing in and then go for the onside kick. I know you only have 3 minutes left, but you got to take this one in. try and get a little bit of momentum. I mean, they're running out of time, but it's a pride thing right now. They've got to do this.
And you know what? They have played with tremendous amount of pride today. They have never given up with everything that's gone against them.
Now they can't pick up a first down without reaching the end zone. It's 4th and 1. DeLong to the end zone for Muhammad. Touchdown. So the Panthers go for it on 4th down and break the shutout. And now they will go for 2. Second touchdown reception of the season for Muhsin Muhammad.
Oh, an interesting position to throw the ball by Jake Delhomme on that play. A lot of times you see it come out here and they run the fade out into the corner right like that, but this ball comes back up into the inside right there.
I can't believe they threw that right there. I was expecting something in the middle or a naked or something, you know, misdirection.
I am really not a fan of that play on the outside. The fade on 4th and 1 at the 2 or 4th and goal in those situations, everything has to be done perfectly. I don't care how much chemistry you have between quarterback and wide receiver. To me, it's a 50-50 play at best.
Panthers go for 2. And they have it. The 2-point conversion to Kerry Colbert. So the Eagles lead with 2:48 remaining is now 15 points, 23-8.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn. People first.
Carolina Panthers reach the end zone. And now we'll set up for the onside kick.
I love onside kicks, guys.
I hate them. I absolutely hate them.
Sauerbrunn.
Well done.
Eagles have it. Freddie Mitchell recovers the onside kick. So the Eagles will take over when we come back. Eagles 2 minutes 45 seconds away from 5-0. Daryl, our game summary.
Well, Philadelphia only rushed for 24 yards, and they were the second to last team in run defense. Here it is again. It's stuff within their control. The turnovers, 3 versus 1, and the big plays today. The big plays is something that really hasn't been there against Carolina's defense, but they weren't just by Philly's offense. It was on special teams. It was the defense chipping in. So I think the things are still within Carolina's control. They just didn't come out and play a complete game today.
The Eagles have scored 10 points off those 3 Carolina turnovers, 3 interceptions thrown by Delhomme. Here's Dorsey Levens, picks up a good chunk of yardage, and a flag comes in on first down.
Holding 49 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
That's the fullback, Josh Parry. We talked about touchdowns and Emmitt Smith saving the footballs, and we saw the touchdown from Muhammad. Goose, you ready for some touchdown trivia?
Yeah, go ahead.
Who scored the first ever playoff touchdown against Carolina back in January '97? First player to score a touchdown in the postseason against Carolina.
All right.
I'll give you a hint. He's standing next to me.
How about Daryl Johnston?
You got it.
Well, you didn't even tell me what team. It could have been a lot of people.
Now, Daryl, I don't want to remind you about the result of that game, but you did, in fact, catch a 2-yard touchdown pass from Troy Aikman.
That was the first one against them?
That was it.
Wow.
Their first playoff game.
And you didn't save that ball, Daryl?
No, I don't got my little tag on it or anything. Nobody told me that when it happened.
We got to find that one and get it for you.
Westbrook to midfield.
I got plenty of room on my shelves, too. They're kind of bare.
Yeah, I do, too.
Timeout called by Carolina, stopping the clock as we check in with Jeannie.
At the Meadowlands, 5-0 Jets. Do I hear 6-0? Here they come. Curtis Martin, 1 yard in for the touchdown. Jets go for 2 again. Same result, nothing. Passing complete. Jets do lead, and we lead you to baseball. An LCS doubleheader. Great sports day coming up next on Fox.
All right, we're looking forward to it, Jeannie. Game 4, both the NLCS and the ALCS.
Boy, Herman Edwards is holding his breath right now that they don't get beat 17-15. That New York media will be all over him for not kicking. You got to kick. You don't go for 2 until you absolutely have to. It sends a message to your team that you don't think you're going to get another chance to score.
You know what's fun about that, Moose, is if they win, no one will care. If they lose, they'll murder them.
Oh, right. Especially in New York. Holy cow.
Herm Edwards, of course, the former Eagle. Involved in one of the most memorable plays in Eagles history.
For Eagles.
And Joe Pisarcik is here today. Westbrook. Westbrook down 42. Gain of 9. Another timeout. Daryl, you never know where Tony might wander before games. Well, today he checked out what the Eagles players. I'd like to see Goose's car.
I've seen Goose's cars.
Pickup truck.
Yep. It's exactly what you expect.
Diesel engine. Yeah, it's really tough with a diesel engine when you go up to like a drive-up window. You know, they always ask you to shut your vehicle off.
Westbrook.
Just a matter of time.
Into the end zone, his first touchdown of the season. 42-yard run.
Good job on the left side of the line. L.J. Smith, 82, gets the defensive end, gets to the second level to Brandon Short, and then the little hesitation by Brian Westbrook. They all lose track of him, and then he pops out into the open field.
You know, we talked about a diesel engine. It was perfect timing. Westbrook is just like a diesel engine. That guy never stops. He's always got a motor going. He's got unbelievable miles on him.
So Westbrook, who had gained only 47 total yards today up until that play, runs it in from 42. His first touchdown this season after scoring 13 a year ago. So with 2:08 remaining in the fourth, it's now 30-8. Philadelphia. Look at Hugh Douglas on the Eagles sidelines, involved in a couple of big plays today. He and Brenson Buckner of Carolina got together recently.
The big man dance contest. It's kind of reaffirming that big guys don't always have a whole lot of rhythm in that big frame.
Hey, watch what you say there. Bite your tongue there, young man. Got a lot of rhythm. A lot of stuff that we could do.
There's Grant Westro of the Seahawks. Tony, you think you can challenge those three guys?
I'll dance with these girls out here. There it is. What do you think?
Still shaky. Still shaky.
Yeah,
maybe an improvement from last week.
Well, I had to stand on his sideline all day. My back is so tight. Forget about it. I got to stretch.
My back.
My feet, my back.
Feet, my ankles.
My everything. Like Terry said, I'm getting varicose veins standing around this field.
Ricky Kroll on the return. Out across the 30 as we hit the 2-minute warning here in Philadelphia. 42-yard touchdown run by Brian Westbrook. 30-8. The Philadelphia Eagles have only 9 first downs today. They've scored 30 points.
Sometimes you look at a group of stats and you can't figure it out. And it goes back to the big plays, you know, the ability to get chunks of yards today. But I mean, the only category that Philadelphia is winning all afternoon, except the scoreboard, obviously, is passing it. It's the only one that they've done better than Carolina.
51 and 53-yard receptions by Owens. The big kickoff return, the 42-yard touchdown run by Westbrook, and Brian Dawkins bats that one back. Well, today's game is being seen around the world on Armed Forces Television. We want to send our best wishes to the men and women of the 415th Base Support Battalion in Kaiserslautern, Germany. We appreciate you tuning in today and everything else that you've done.
Absolutely. Everything being away from their families, putting their lives on the line for us to enjoy our freedoms here back at home. You can't say enough about all our troops that are spread out around the world today.
Likewise, Daryl. Thanks, guys out there in Germany, man. Have one on me, baby.
From the 31. Alone to Goings. And Goings takes it out to the 36. Today's game being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The associate director, Charles McDonald. Sideline producer, Jacob Ullman. Broadcast associates, Wayne Wilson and Michael Thompson. The technical producer is Bob Mueller. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons, as that pass is dropped by Mangum. The senior producer is Phil Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports, Ed Gordon and David Hill. And we'd also like to thank our stats crew, Eric Merlis, Ben Bowman, Mike Eldridge, and Charlie Dameyer. Eagles perfect under Andy Reid when scoring at least 30 points. They will make it 6-0 following the bye under Andy Reid, and they will remain perfect this season at 5-0 heading to Cleveland next Sunday, while the Panthers will drop to 1-4, and they will host San Diego next week.
They have got a tough stretch coming up. They got their run defense sorted out today, and maybe it was Chris Jenkins trying to be a warrior out there on the field and just not being 100%. That was the big thing, but they've got some tough. They've got Sean Alexander. They've got LaDainian Tomlinson coming up. They've got to keep the progress they've made today, but they just got to stay with it, because you watch this game today, and a lot of it is things within their control. I know they've been hit hard by the injuries, but I believe what John Fox says. You know, they are still a good football team, even with all those people out of the line. But they've got to start taking care of their own business.
Mike Mitchell told us yesterday, we're still the NFC champs. Every team goes through a lull somewhere in the season. Hopefully we get ours out of the way early.
They're in the middle of it right now. It just, you know, I thought maybe they had everything corrected when they went out to Kansas City. To me, that was a very impressive victory. But they've come back and they spot people points early in the game with turnovers, and they get themselves behind on the scoreboard, and that's not their style. Their style is to get late in the game and have it tight and find a way to win it. And with the turnovers and the leads that they're giving up early in the football game, it takes Carolina out of its comfort zone in the way that it plays football, which is great defense, trying to take the ball away, solid special teams, and then an opportunistic offense.
Panthers use their final timeout.
We'll go back and take a look at how the game started out. Dorsey Levin's one-yard touchdown run. Then the big interception return by Lito Shepherd. Carolina finally gets on the board late, but they contain Brian Westbrook all day, but at the end he springs for a big one around the corner. But it was the big plays in the first half. Carolina did a good job. All of Philadelphia's scoring drives came off of a series where they had given up a big play, a 66-yard kickoff return to open the game. Terrell Owens has a big reception. Actually, two big receptions in the first half that led to the 13 points, and then Carolina could just get nothing going positively in the second half. When their defense came out and made a couple big stands on some short fields, offensively they just never got into a rhythm today.
The Eagles led 10-0 after 1, 13-0 at the half, 23-0 after 3. Panthers out of timeouts as Goings picks up the first down. Big plays the story today. Eagles only 9 first downs, but a number of big plays. T.O., 4 catches all in the first half for 123 yards. And the pass intercepted in the end zone. Lito Shepherd with his second pick today, and the 4th thrown by Jake Delhomme.
That's just something that happens in the course of a game when you're forced to put the ball up, and this game was decided a while back, but you know, the big questions will come tomorrow from the people in Carolina. You know, was Jake Delhomme 100% after that big hit that he took? Because 2 of the 4 interceptions that he's thrown today have been bad decisions. There have been people in coverage, and you can see the frustration on him. He is such a competitive guy. And I had an opportunity to visit with him on Saturday, and just very impressed by the intangibles that Jake Delhomme possesses as a quarterback.
The only other time he threw 4 interceptions in a game was in Carolina as a member of the New Orleans Saints back in the 1999 season. So the Eagles become only the 2nd team the last 35 years, joining the 1999 Rams to win each of their first 5 games by 10 or more points. Panthers drop to 1-4. Eagles now 5-0. Daryl and I will return to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia after these messages.